so here's 5 things that you can do to find your purpose in life. And I know that sounds like a big order or a tall order, because when we think about a purpose, we think about people like Muhammad Ali. He had a purpose in life, and he was driven to do something, or Mother Teresa, or maybe somebody like a Gandhi or something like that. Those people, it's obvious that they had a purpose, and we think to ourselves, if I knew what my purpose was, if I knew what my purpose is, why I'm put on this planet, then I would go further faster. And so I'm going to talk to you about exactly what your purpose is, where it comes from, why it's important, and then what you can do to find your purpose, and then more specifically, what you can do with your purpose to help you go further, faster in life. And as usual, it's always important that you take notes, because this isn't just going to be me flapping my pie hole just to give you information. Knowledge is cheap. This is going to be something that you can do to, like I said, find your purpose. And even though I don't know you personally, I'm going to show you how to find your purpose. And then obviously something you can do to go further, faster. So let's start here. What is a purpose? Not what is your purpose. What is a purpose? A purpose is that thing that you do or have done that gives you the feeling of fulfillment, that makes you feel like you mean something, that you feel significant, that you make a difference. And making a difference is the key. And so when you think about somebody like a Muhammad Ali, and you think about, okay, well, what was his purpose? Was his purpose to be the greatest boxer in the world? Was that his purpose to do it? You know the stories. Yes, that's what he wanted. That was his goal. That's what he said he did. That was the carrot on the stick. But his purpose throughout his life was to make an impact on people's lives. Think about this. We'll come back to Muhammad Ali here in a second. What do all of these professions and all of these things that people do have in common? An entertainer, like a musician or an artist or a singer, or a actress or whatever. A charity worker, a social worker. What do all those things have in common? You would say to yourself, with all those people, that's their purpose to do all those things, a musician, okay? But you think about, let's go back to Muhammad Ali, and I'll tell you what all those things had in Muhammad Ali. His purpose in life was to make a difference in people's lives. In his case, was to change things, his purpose was to bring to the forefront the treatment of black people during these times, and the treatment of people in general. To be that beacon, to be that people that when people look at it, they go, well, this great person said it, and this person did it, so I can do it as well. He inspired other people. You think about Mother Teresa. What her purpose was, what she did was she went around and she helped people, the dying, and she worked with the needy and the poor and so on and so forth, and she made their lives better, and she helped them in doing that. And that was her purpose in doing that. And you think about any and everybody across the board, even a Gandhi, what was their purpose? Was to change people's lives. That's what gave them their feeling. That's what made them get up early, stay up late, do the extra stuff, do the stuff that other people want. An entertainer, all of those things all across the board. Why do they do it? It's because when they perform that song, or they act, or they do this, so on and so forth, they're changing other people's lives. They're making other people make a difference. Is there a selfish side of it? Is there a narcissistic side of it? Maybe, yes. But the truth of the matter is, underlying all of those professions, all of those things, is because they're aiding somebody else, because they're helping somebody else, because they're making a difference, as I said, in other people's lives. Making a difference is what your purpose is. That's what gives you that feeling of wow, I mean something. I made a difference. Think about this. I have a feeling like I'm in a seminar right now. I'm going to say, raise your hand, or type a 1 or whatever. If you feel good when you help somebody, you help an old lady across the street, or you give somebody directions, or you're even your own child as you help them and you do things. Most of the time we'll do those things. We're not looking for the recognition. We're not looking for somebody to go, hey, good job, you, that was great. It's got to come from you. Your purpose comes from the inside of you. When you do something, and some of us do it to a fault. I know I have. That I want to help somebody else. I will do things that will take me out of my comfort zone and put me sometimes in harm's way to help somebody else. That's purpose. That's the feeling. Because remember, everything is about a feeling. And if you can cultivate the feeling, if you can know what the feeling is, Then you can graduate and find out what your ultimate purpose is. You see, going back on Muhammad Ali, if you know his story, he didn't start off with that purpose. He started off as a boxer because somebody stole his bicycle. And when he was talking to a policeman, and the policeman said, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to beat that guy up, that stole my bicycle. I'm going to find him and I'm going to fight him. I'm going to beat him up. And the officer said, well, don't you think you should learn how to fight first? He said, okay. And so he took him down to the gym, and that's where his career started. But as he started doing that, along the way, guess what happened? People would recognize him and they would go, well, gosh, you do this is great, and everything. And he started getting accolades from other people because other people felt inspired. And when you think about it, when you go to a sports game and you see that person down there on the field or whatever the sport is, and they're doing something, don't you feel inspired? Well, in that moment, that's what that person's purpose is. In the meantime, along the way, is he or she going to make, some money and make some fame and stuff like that? Absolutely, yes. But across the board, and I have had the privilege of working with hundreds and thousands of people, A-list people, actors, actresses, millionaires, billionaires, and so on and so forth. And across the board, at the bottom of all of it, guess what they all want to do? They all want to make a difference, a bigger difference. And when you peel away the onion, and you take a look at why they're doing what they're doing is in the end so that they can have a better life for their children. They can have a better life for other people around when it comes away. Are there people that are greedy, that's all they want is just the money and so on and so forth? Yeah, that happens, but it doesn't last very long. And those types of people that are always just about the money and so on and so forth, those aren't the people that you want to model. That's not having a purpose. And so understand that your purpose, at the very least, is to make a difference in somebody else's or some other people's lives. So I want you to start there. Understand that first off, that's all purpose is. Why it's there is because it is the carrot on the stick for all of us. It's what makes us feel good, and we're all after feeling good. We all want to feel good. We want to feel good about ourselves, and we feel not best, maybe best, when we do something for other people. That's why it's there. So now let's talk about how to find yours and then what to do with it. There's some very, very simple steps that you can do. And remember, what you do is what produces results. And so let's start by doing this. Step number 1, do something for somebody else. Now remember, we're in the search of right now. Do something for somebody else. Kindness. Do something kind for somebody else. And as many as you possibly can, just think about it. What could I do for this person? As you're walking down the street, there's a homeless person. Could I give them some money? Could I do this? Could I make a phone call and say hello to somebody that I haven't talked to for a while? Could I tell somebody I appreciate them? On social media, could you do something that you're just giving? It's so much easier these days that you can do something. Do something. Get out there and do something for somebody else. Because when you do, in that moment, you're having purpose. Now, it might not be your ultimate purpose, but in the process of doing something kind for somebody else, then here's what happens. Then you start to find, okay, well, this is this and this. And life has a really funny way of showing you what you want when you go looking for it and when you start doing something. I learned this a long time ago. My father, as a matter of fact, it was one of my books that I wrote about my dad. The book is called Dare to be Magnificent. And my father showed me, he didn't say the way that I'm saying it right now, but he showed me what purpose was and how it feels good. And I remember years ago, the stories in the book, we lived in a place called North Dakota. North Dakota is a frigid, very, very cold place. And I was little. I was maybe 6 or 7 years old. And we had this old station wagon, and we were driving home. My father was in the Air Force, and my whole family there were 4 kids, and my mom and my dad were driving in the middle of the snow. And this is many years ago. And there was a family in their car broken down on the side of the road. Now, we didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have anything. And my father stopped and got out of the car. He told us all to wait there. No, he didn't. No, I forgot that. My dad made me come with him, and I hate the cold. He made everybody else wait in the car, and he had me come with him. And we went with him, and the guy rolled his window down, and my dad said, are you okay? And the guy said, well, my car won't start. There's something going on with my car. Now, my dad, by profession in the Air Force, that was his job. He was a mechanic. and he knew how to fix things. And so he says, so pop the hood. He says, let's take a look. And the guy goes, are you sure? And I remember the look on the guy's face is like, why is this guy doing this? And of course, this was a long time ago, and this was more common for people to do those things than it is nowadays. But he popped the hood, and my dad was underneath there, and they were working on the car, and I was freezing. I'm going, Dad, and Dad goes, just hold tight. And so they're working on the car, and they found out there was something. I don't remember there was something wrong with the car, but the guy needed a part. And so my dad said, okay, well, listen, we have a station wagon. Put your family in my car. Let's go get the part. And so here are these strangers we didn't even know piled into our car. We had this big old station wagon, and they had like 2 or 3 kids or whatever, and the mom and the dad. And we got in the car, and we made friends and everything. And my dad took them to the parts store, then came back, and my dad helped him put the part back in the car, got the car started, and went on. And just in the end, my dad and that guy became very, very good friends. And my dad was a very, very popular man. People liked my dad a lot. And I remember because he did that, and my dad later on said to me, listen, if you can help somebody, help them. And he said, because that's why we're here, is to help each other. And I remember thinking that, okay, and I got it at a very young age, and I've always been that way. That's why I'm doing this right now. I get to help you if you help somebody else. We'll talk about that here in a second. And so that became my purpose. And if you know anything about me, when I got older, and some people, I tried to take my life because of the color of my skin, I could have been bitter. And I was, quite honestly, for a little while, but somebody reminded me of my purpose. Somebody who helped me, they helped me, they gave me the book Think and Grow Rich, but then when I asked him, how do I help you? How do I repay you? What he said to me was, you do the same that I've done for you for as many people as you possibly can. And so that's why I do this is my purpose. And so let's go back and take a look at everything that I talked about, your purpose in life. Your purpose in life is to serve others, to help others, to make a difference. Because along the way, you're going to find. So step number 1 is to do something. Do something of kindness for somebody. It doesn't have to be this big flamboyant thing. It can be anything at all. Do something. Step number 2, remember any and everything that you've ever done. Now write these steps down. And step number 2 is you're going to have to write down. Just make a list of anything that you've ever done that served somebody else, that made a difference in somebody else's life. It's going to blow you away. And remember, every time that you remember something, look at it this way. To dismember means to take apart. To remember means to put it back together again. And what that means for you is everything that you've ever touched, tasted, smelled, experienced in your entire life is in your mind. It's in your other than conscious mind. It's stored there like a hard drive. But oftentimes we separate our conscious mind. We don't remember those things. We don't think about those things all the time. But as soon as you think about them, you literally remember. You actually make new neuro associations. Your brain actually makes a new connection back to that thing. And when you do that, then it makes you feel good. And so step number 2 is to remember all the things that you've done that have made a difference in other people's lives. Even something as simple as having said thank you to the person at the drive-up window, or given a tip to somebody. Any and everything that you do, that's what we're here for. I always say this. If what I'm saying wasn't true, you wouldn't be alive today, because your mother or whoever took care of you, their purpose was to serve you, was to take care of you. And if they didn't, then you wouldn't be here. You'd have starved to death. You wouldn't be here. Now, what happens is, just scientifically, is when we help somebody, when we do something, our brain releases and our bodies release something called oxytocin. Oxytocin and dopamine and all those things that make us feel good. That's euphoria. That feeling is what we're all after. And the more that we do. And so when you lay your head on the pillow at night, you get to go unconsciously, I'm worthy of this. So step number 2 is to remember. Step number 3 is to search. And what that means is search. Look at somebody like a Muhammad Ali. Look for other people that inspire you. Search for other things that you could do to serve people. I promise you, across the board, when you start looking at people that impress you or that you admire, you're going to realize that there is some element of them that either what they do consciously or unconsciously, they're doing it because they're making a difference in somebody else's life. And so that search, again, we're remembering, where the whole thing is to rewire your brain, is to reconnect your brain to all of those things. Step number 4, teach. That's right. Remember, teaching in itself is a form of giving back and making a difference in people's lives. What can you teach? Anything. And nowadays it's so much easier because you don't even have to have you don't have to have an audience sitting in front of you. You can do what I'm doing right now. Find something and teach it. Go on Instagram, go on Facebook or something like that and go, hey, guess what I learned the other day? You can teach them what you're learning here right now. You know, a lot of people spend a lot of time. My son calls it YouTube University, learning stuff on YouTube. Whenever I want to learn something new, guess what? That's my go-to, my fail-safe that I go to. Well, listen, whatever you learn, you can make a video. You can say to somebody, here's what I learned. You know, here's where I got it from, blah, blah, blah. That you're giving something. You're making a difference in somebody's life because you never know when there isn't somebody out there going, ah, I didn't know that. You know, I was thinking about this a couple days ago, is that people that don't know what you know, it's new to them and it's an aha to them. You know things, you're watching them and you're helping them learn things that you already know. And some of it, if not all of it, you learned from somebody else. So number 4 is to teach. And then number 5, you know how I roll. Praise yourself as often as possible. Give yourself credit. Hey, this is what I do because this comes from the inside. This is what generates that drive. And what I promise you is along the way through this process, the lights are going to go on, especially in the searching part. You're going to go, oh, I could do this. I could do this. And it doesn't mean that your business or the work that you do has to be directly related to that. Remember, Muhammad Ali, being a boxer, was not directly related to changing the minds and the hearts of people about other people that had a different color skin. His goal was to, beat up a guy that stole his bicycle. But along the way, he found his purpose. And so this will help you find your purpose. And then once you find it, then you do something with it. And you go after it. And you'll find yourself being drawn towards it. And here's probably the greatest part about it. The universe has a way of rewarding you for doing your purpose. And other things will show up in your life. You see, to me, luck is manufactured. The more you seek and find your purpose, the more the universe is going to hand you the situations, the circumstances, material things, and even other human beings that are going to help you go further, faster. And so whether you teach what I'm teaching you right now or you teach it to somebody else, what's going to happen is stuff's going to start to show up for you in your life. I don't know you personally. I look forward to meeting you at some point. And I know that you're a human being like all of the rest of us. Your purpose on this planet is to help other people. Now, you can do it in with your own little sphere of people, even if it's just your family, or you can step outside of that, which is what I encourage you to do. Be that person. See, we all want more. You're here, you're listening to me right now because you want more for your life. You want to be wealthy, healthy, happy, and financially abundant. And this is one of the surefire ways of going after it and making it happen. Makes you feel good, makes other people feel good, and we change the world along the way. Lastly, remember this. Life is exactly what you dare to make it. And fortune favors the bold. So the trick to life is to boldly step up and dare to make your life magnificent. I look forward to serving you, and I'll see you at the top.